Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Conquer College Admissions. This is Julie Kim, and I'm a graduate of USC and Harvard University and the founder of Passion Prep. In this video, I wanted to do more of a chit-chat style with you to discuss why it's so hard to get accepted into Ivy League and top 50 colleges, but also this misconception that a lot of students and families have that you have to be a perfect student to get accepted into your dream colleges. And let me tell you why that is absolutely a misconception and not true at all. And one thing that I like to mention to my students when I'm coaching them is, what is a perfect student? We are humans after all. Like, who is perfect and by what definition? So today, let's go ahead and talk about what you really need to have in place in your college application throughout your high school years, even as an 8th grader, going up until 12th grade. What are the things that you need to do, and what are the major mistakes you need to avoid, especially like that idea of you trying to be a perfect student, and why that will actually decrease your chances of getting accepted into your dream college. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we dive into today's video, I wanted to let you know that we have a free live workshop for high school students and parents on 3 essential steps you must execute in order to get accepted. I've updated all the PowerPoint slides so that they are brand new, not only with the new policy changes. For example, Johns Hopkins University reinstated the SAT and ACT a few days ago, and other really great strategies that we help our students use to get accepted into their dream colleges. And so you can go ahead and register for this free live workshop, passionprep.com/live. And it's going to be an interactive live presentation. So at the end, I will be able to answer some questions you have. And for those of you who want more individualized support, maybe you have different circumstances, you want to go through your transcript, your resume, I also offer 45-minute private coaching sessions. And a lot of families are taking advantage of this because it gives you a really quick win fast. And for that, we'll also put the link in the description box so that you can go ahead and book it and work with me directly in a Zoom call. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about statistics here. Because even though students have straight A's and they take a lot of AP classes, the SAT scores are looking like 1560, ACT is looking 35, 36, thousands of high school students get rejected. And we see this by the number. We're always looking at primary data to see, okay, what were the statistics that the rejected students had? And they are impressive. And so, it's almost like, well, then what do I need to do to get into my dream Ivy League and top tier colleges? Well, GPA and SAT scores are just it's one of the factors, let's put it that way. But what's really going to help a student stand out is not because that student was trying to be perfect in their application. And by perfect, I think a lot of people's definition is like, okay, get good grades, get good SAT scores. They are important. But then they're also adding in all of these like well-rounded applicant vibe. So I'm going to volunteer every Saturday. I attend summer programs. I'm going to do a nonprofit. We onboarded a lot of new students into our Accepted Club program. And so many students were working on donations, nonprofit related things. So that's another one. What else? Yeah, do competitions, get awards. And so it almost feels like a checklist. You know how like when you go on a vacation, you have a list of things you have to pack? It almost feels like, okay, these are the things that I've got to do. Because people have the notion that they have to be a perfect student. And what happens when you do that? Number one is there's just too much competition. Everyone is trying to do that. Everyone's trying to show that they're hardworking. And the second thing is when you try to be a perfect student, you fail to demonstrate your personality and your values in life. Other than the fact that, yeah, I've worked really hard and I want to get into a dream college, which is not really unique or individualized enough. So that's one major thing. And Obviously, I've gone through the admissions process myself. I've helped over 1,000 students go through this process. It is hard, don't get me wrong, but when you try to go about this process trying to look like a perfect candidate, then it gets even harder. So what happens is you want to focus on your inner self and what your values are. What are your academic passions? What values are important to you? Maybe it's creativity, maybe it is freedom, maybe it is advancement in technology. You want to use your thoughts and values and then strengthen that as much as possible, deepen that as much as possible. And actually, I'm looking at my bookshelf right now because I'm going to be moving soon, so I don't really have a good place to film, but I'm going to pull up this book that I read by Cal Newport. He wrote like an excerpt for him, but this book is called Deep Work, and it shows how deep work creates so much uniqueness, and that you shouldn't be just doing surface level things because other people are doing it as well. You want to deepen your academic passions and interests, and it's not a linear process, but it shows colleges that, oh wow, like look at John, he was really interested in this kind of cancer, and then he did research with this professor focusing on genetics aspect of it, and then he also looked at the policy side of Medicare and how that affected cancer patients. That's just an example, right? So we want to almost do a storytelling form of, okay, because I did A, it led me to B, and then it led me to C. Does that necessarily show that you are a perfect student? No, because we're not trying to show colleges like, hey, I'm a perfect child, I'm a perfect friend, I'm a perfect individual, by the way, which doesn't exist and is so subjective. But all we're showing is some events in our lives that led to one opportunity to another and to another. And that's where I help my students out the most, is the storytelling aspect, and also based on their interests, we'll find opportunities together. So anyway, I recommend this book. It really helped me a lot as an educator myself, because I use a lot of these principles in my coaching with our students. And so yeah, that's one message I wanted to tell you today. And the second part is truly, when you get rid of the idea that you have to present yourself in the most polished way, I think that's where things go wrong. I don't know if you follow Brene Brown. She does research on vulnerability and courage, and people who are reading your applications, they're not like completely different from us. They're human, they're people, they have families, they have kids, they have siblings, and so they want to read your essay and say, oh wow, like I really connect with this student. He's being extremely vulnerable. Well, we don't want to be too vulnerable to a point where we're sharing too much, but there's a good balance. And so kind of just sharing your honesty, being authentic in this process is truly crucial. And that goes to even when you go into college and into the workforce, when we try to be someone we're not, or we're trying to only show like the polished side of us, it creates a disconnect. And so honesty, vulnerability, courage, those are all of those important qualities that we want to embed. And when I look at the data for a common data set for these colleges, they always say we want to see your personality, and that's very important. So if you are funny, let's try to add some humor into your essays. If you are very serious and you want to make a global impact, let's emphasize that and make sure that that tone is being conveyed. So yeah, let's make it a little bit more you and more fun. And I think that's really going to help you take off that pressure that you have to be like this perfect student. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I don't know if you knew, but we also have a podcast that is very popular. It is called the Demystifying College Admissions Podcast. We'll also link the podcast link, the Spotify, all of that, iTunes in the description box, so you can also listen to our podcast. YouTube is more informative. Podcast is a lot more conversational. We also invite our students to talk about their experiences. It's really nice. So head on over to our podcast, give it a listen. It's really good. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And also, if you want to work more long-term with me and our team, We have our one-on-one premier college counseling program called Accepted Club. We offer 8 one-on-one calls throughout the year, unlimited support in between, and weekly office hours to get all of your college admissions questions answered. So that enrollment link is passionprep.com/accepted-club. I'll put it here so you can see the URL, and then you can also click on it in the description box. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll be back with another one. Next time, I'll be filming elsewhere because we are finally moving out of our temporary home. And so I can't wait to show you our new office, and it's going to be so amazing. So the next video, I'll see you in a better place. Bye.